Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick, and today guys we're jumping down into the world of Bitcoin, taking a look at what's been going on most recently and what I think might actually happen next. Now as I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Now if you have not yet joined us in Discord, the link is in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. You'll also find links to our Patreon services where we offer a lot more for our Discord members via Patreon. And this is everything from, buying and staking alerts, selling alerts, trading, project reviews, AMAs, and a whole host of additional benefits. If that's your bag, check that out. And also down below, you'll find the new Cheeky podcast as well. A fantastic way of staying up to date with everything crypto on your daily commute to the office. If that's your bag, check it out. Link in the description below. Okay, let's waste no more time though. Let's jump into this, right? So, yeah, we had seen a pretty volatile day yesterday. The FOMO seems to be strong with many individuals, and I guess what we need to do in this video is actually take a dive down into Bitcoin here and actually take a look at this data objectively, right? So we obviously had FOMO hit past 20,918 yesterday. That invalidates our wave 2 structure just here. Okay, we then surged up higher than 21,888. This basically invalidates this wave 1 structure down here as well. So basically what we've done is we're basically saying that we are still in our wave 4, okay, of the macro move to the downside. However, what I want to do is I want to kind of delete everything off this chart and start taking a look at all of these structures once again with fresh set of eyes and see whether or not we can come up with any bullish sentiment. Because right now, when I look at this chart, I see nothing but bearish flags everywhere. Not to say there's a bear flag. I mean, that's a bear flag anyway. But what I mean is essentially there's nothing bullish or nothing to get me too excited about Bitcoin or crypto right now, yet we are seeing crazy levels of FOMO for apparently no good reason as far as I can see here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete everything off my chart. Okay, I'm going to remove all the drawings, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically take a look at this structure and see if there's anything here that might make me think that we've hit the bottom and there's some kind of bullish movement to the upside. Okay, so if we start taking a look at this, right, we have our upward directional move here, we had this pullback to the downside. So let's actually review this, right? So up here, basically March of 2020. If I actually pull this up into a 4-hourly chart, you can kind of see the level of pullback that we've had all the way from November. This is actually a pretty good starting position. So if I grab this low point down here and I take this up to the all-time high, which was $69,000 just up the top here, okay, and I do need to actually just zoom in on that section, get that right on the nose. There we go. Okay, here we can see that we have pulled back down pretty reasonably. So if I go ahead and just pull this over, we can see that we've come down and we've pretty much bounced from a 1.382. Okay, we haven't hit the 1.618. So there's always that as a positive note, because avoiding the 1.618 basically prevents this from happening, right? Which is basically a wave 1 or wave 2. Wave 3 really comes in when we hit 1.618, a wave 4 bounce, and then a significant low afterwards, right? So this is still something that we should consider until, of course, we've pushed up higher than where our wave 1 would technically be. So let's go ahead and just remove that for a second and remove this. But that's not really what I want to focus in on here. I want to focus in on a couple of things that are going on in this section, okay? So we have this high point. So we have a bounce up here. We also have a pretty decent kind of correction in here. We can argue this is a 5-wave drop right here. It's a pretty obvious one right there, and an overextended 5th wave. That seems to be pretty common with Bitcoin, where we get those overextensions. Now here we obviously bounce back up again, but we do get overlap. So this looks like it's a zigzag pattern in the total, right? So we pull back here, we bounce up, we pull back. And if we check this, right, and we take this motion to the upside here, we just check this point down here, we can come down just a little bit shallow. We didn't quite hit the 1-to-1 ratio, but essentially this looks to me like we have an ABC structure just here, okay? So we'll call this wave A, for example. This entire structure here is basically on a macro scale just a single wave in itself, right? Then we have that bounce up there, and then we pull back down. It's this pullback that's really quite interesting, because we also have our 3-wave structure here, Okay, this one was pretty obvious. So we have a 3-3 move. And then, of course, taking a look at this, now we've got a couple of options here. We can, of course, say that it's just a 3-wave move, and we end up with this, right? It's just a 3-wave drop. But that 3-wave drop would still be a little bit on the shallower side. So if I were to take this low point, if I can zoom in, let me just zoom in here for a sec and grab hold of this low point, and we grab this high point, and then we go ahead and just transpose this over to here. You can see that we've come down to the 1-to-1. We bounced from the 1-to-1, so that's not too bad, actually, taking a look at it. So we could argue that. However, what we want to do is we also need to count the sub-wave structures here as to whether or not this is the bottom. Okay, now, when we take a look here, we can see that we've got an overextended 5th wave move, also an overextension here. So again, taking a look, it looks like we've probably got a zigzag inside here as well. Where we would move up here and then pull back down here. And this is the interesting one, because this is, if I grab that low point and I grab that high point, come up here somewhere, let me just actually zoom back in on this. Okay, because this is the one that is telling us that we've got the additional lows still to come. Okay, so we move this over to our bounce just here. You can see that we push past the 1.618. So this is not an ABC structure. Instead of this is a 1, 2, 3, 4 up here, and 5 coming down. Okay, now it's possible that our 5th wave has ended. Now I was speculating that it hasn't ended because we've got an overextended wave 3. Okay, so if we just zoom out for a second before I get into that, what we've got here is a 3-wave structure, a 3-wave structure, and a 5-wave structure. With our overextended 5th wave might be over, but I think it might not be over. Okay, so it can go either way, and I'm going to go through what that looks like in a moment. So essentially, all of this here is a 3-wave structure that is on a macro scale 3, 3, 5. Okay, so it consists of 3 waves, and the first wave has 3 waves, the second wave has 3 waves, and the third wave has 5 waves. Okay, that's essentially what that means. So let's jump on down into this little section then, because wave 1 I'm okay with, wave 2 I'm okay with, wave 4 I'm okay with. However, this wave 5 is where things get interesting. So let's go ahead and focus in on this. Okay, and what I'll do is actually I don't need that on there anymore. Okay, so within this wave 5, we've got a couple of things that we're looking for. We've either completed this, which is a possibility. I'm not going to lie to anyone and say that it isn't a possibility. It definitely is a possibility. However, it's also possible that it hasn't finished yet. So I'm going to run you through what would look like if it has finished. Okay, so here we have a small structure, which we would have to argue is done and complete at about here. Okay, then of course we've kind of got our overextension, which is here, here, and then this wave 4 is down here. So wave 3 is down here with wave 5, our wave 4 bounce, and then we finish with wave 5. Okay, so that's what it would look like if we have actually finished our wave 5, and our bottom of our bear market comes in down here at 17,622. Okay, so that basically becomes the bottom of our bear market. Okay, now one of the things that is still possible is that this structure here of our subwave for wave 3 basically is this move here. Okay, and basically this means that where we're actually in right now is a wave 4. So if I go up here again, we have wave 1, wave 2, all of this is wave 3, and what we're currently in is wave 4, and then we move into wave 5 later. Okay, this is the one that I've been mapping. Okay, this is the move that I've been mapping. Now, essentially, all of this move to the upside here so far is corrective. There is nothing here telling us that we've changed the direction of the trend. Okay, the trend is a 5-wave structure. So when we see a 5-wave move to the downside like this, we know that it's essentially a trend-based pattern. Now, what we've got essentially is a 3-wave structure on the macro moving down. So we're corrective moving down on the macro, let's say daily chart. Okay, there's nothing impulsive, there's no 5-wave moves, there's no trend down on the daily chart. However, when you break it into its subsections, you can see mini trends that are going and taking us into downward price action. Now, on the upside, we've kind of got one kind of mini trend going on right now on this side. We'll go into that in a moment. And essentially, I think this entire thing looks like a 3-3-5 structure going up into a corrective shape pattern for our wave 4. And the higher that wave 4 goes, the lower that wave 5 goes, okay? But both options are valid, okay, until they are proven otherwise, okay? Now, up here, if I grab hold of this low point, which I think is this one, yeah, 29,218. Let me just check to make sure that's exactly the one I'm looking for. So yeah, that's exactly the one I'm looking for. So $29,218, right? That would be where we would have to move the price to be confident that this is the bottom, okay? With the structures that are going on there, there's no guarantee of that, okay? And the structure that is going on here as well, we could also note that could be multiple different patterns at this stage. Okay, it could be a leading diagonal, and a 3-wave structural move at the beginning of a leading diagonal is not uncommon. So we should also consider that this is the bottom and that's a leading diagonal beginning, meaning that we still end up with that trend-based structure, but we just can't see it yet. Okay, it was too early to know for certain. Of course, if we drop down lower than 17,622, then of course, we're into the 5th wave lows, okay? So that's kind of what's going on there. Now, the other thing I want to kind of talk about a little bit is what a lot of people have been talking about in the way that we have these setting these higher lows, right? Higher lows, it's this kind of an unfortunate way of kind of looking at it, because they don't really mean terribly too much. So if I grab this one here, for example, and I'd pull these up, we have a set of higher lows, yet we broke to the downside, okay? We had a limited amount of upside, even though we were setting, as well as those higher lows, we were also setting some higher highs. Okay, if I take this point and this point, for example, right, we're setting higher highs and we're setting higher lows, yet still we broke to the downside, right? These patterns, these are very basic terminologies that get thrown around a lot, but they don't mean terribly too much. It's the same with moving averages. They don't tend to mean too much because they're lagging, they're behind the times. Now, what we've got over here, again, is a series of very similar moves. We've got some higher highs and we got some higher lows, but again, doesn't generally mean anything too much. The other thing that's really worth pointing out here is this particular shape of pattern is what happened over this side. Just here, I'm just going to roughly draw these on, just on this side here as well. Okay, and what we actually ended up with was a breakdown. This is because this is also known as a bear flag, because what you have here is the pole and the flag, the pole and the flag. Okay, so a significant breakdown is very much likely to happen. That is, another indication that things aren't looking too great for Bitcoin right now. And the level of FOMO just is, it's strange because, I don't understand why anybody would want to be jumping into the market right now. It doesn't make sense to do so. Specifically, when we also then take a look at the momentum indicators, which on this 4-hourly chart is overbought, on the 8-hourly chart is overbought, and on the daily chart is overbought, which means correction is imminent. Now, of course, we are on this lower side here on the hourly chart oversold, which basically means that we haven't finished this FOMO pump action just yet. Although, of course, the stochastic RSI cannot be used in isolation. You cannot look at a stochastic RSI and think just because it's oversold, it's going to push the price up. Essentially, the stochastic RSI, what it's doing is it's tracking the momentum behind a price, but you need to have at least a price direction before you can actually have that move to the upside and be confident on it. As you can see here, we are looking at just testing some new support levels at around 21,700 approximately at the moment. And what we're going to do now is we're going to break down this move. Okay, so if we're in this wave 4, okay, we're going to break this down and we're going to take a look at it. So I think what is going on here is we have this low point over here. Okay, we moved up into this section, we moved down, then we've moved on up. I don't think this wave 3 is over. I think there's a wave 4 and a potential wave 5 still to come, taking us higher. Okay, but again, we're speculating a little bit here because we don't have the targets just yet. We have our next move, which is basically a wave 1 coming in here, a wave 2 here, a wave 3 here, a wave 4, and a wave 5. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a 5-wave structure inside our wave 3 here and get that in overextended. We're then looking for a wave 4 correction afterwards, and then we're looking for the final surge upwards into a wave 5, all of which I think comes in as a 3-wave structure, which is basically up here as an A wave, down here is a B wave, and then up here is a C wave. Okay, and if I take the measurement of our A wave, come here, there we go, and we take the measurement of our B wave low. Here you can kind of see our expectations come in at $23,117. So, you know, we could be looking at some minor moves up higher, but essentially we're ready to drop. We're getting very, very close to it. So there's a little bit of room to the upside possibly, but I would say this is far too high risk right now. I would not be wanting to jump in on this one personally. I would definitely be looking for a corrective move and to take advantage of such a corrective move to the downside. Okay, now if this is of course all of wave 4 and it is kind of complete up here, essentially that means that our wave 5 is going to drop down lower than we were actually anticipating it previously. The higher that wave 4 goes, the lower that wave 5 goes. Okay, so we're just going to put this on the 1-to-1, but it could be higher than this. To be fair, it's probably going to be up towards the 1.236, coming in probably around that 24,000. But I'm going to leave it at 23,117 for now. Essentially, this now shows us moving down lower than $15,000. Okay, so you know, it basically puts us at 14,898 to 16,500. Okay, but that's speculating, because we haven't finished this upward move yet. Once we finish a wave 4, we could predict out where wave 5 goes. Of course, it's always possible that this wave count that I have on here is incorrect and we have finished and we have bottomed here. I just don't think we have yet. I think we've got more room to the downside to be had, and then once that is over, we've actually then bottomed out this market. I feel that there's a lot of a bit of a trap going on essentially here across all of this. I'm not confident that we finish this. As you can kind of see, the structured move to the downside here. Even on a 1-to-1 ratio, it's barely hit that. So it is possible, but you know, until we see the structure that is moving on up. Of course, you know, on this next pullback to the downside, we might see the right kind of shift in momentum. We might see the right level of I guess sentiment in the space and it changing a bit. But until we see that, there's nothing really too much to be bullish on here. We've got corrective pattern upwards, and until we actually see corrective moves down that do not cross 17,622, I wouldn't want to be too confident in the move to the upside longer term. Not just yet. I do think we have the potential to shift and change a bit, and this move recently to the upside for Bitcoin here is yeah, you know, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but at the same time, I am still expecting those lower lows. And even at these prices, even with these kind of small pushes to the upside right now, the value of cryptocurrency is incredibly good in my opinion. Even though I kind of expecting lower lows, dollar cost averaging is always a great strategy to make sure that you have a good position when you're in these kind of bear market low situations. Guys, I'm going to leave this video there, but I do want to leave you on one reminder that I'm not a financial advisor. I cannot offer you financial advice. All I can do is give you my thoughts and opinions of the data in the charts as I see it. You know, definitely do not buy or sell or do any trading activity on anything that I say and do in these videos. You should absolutely do your own research. You should consult your own financial advisor if you have one. And if you have found this video useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe? Tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.